As AI continues to advance at an unprecedented pace, there are growing concerns about the potential risks and consequences of creating machines that are capable of thinking and feeling like humans. Join us as we explore the pros and cons of AI, examine the concept of sentience, and discuss some of the biggest fears and uncertainties surrounding this exciting but controversial technology. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Sydney.
I'm Sarah.
And this week on Let's Be Briefed, we're discussing AI. So I thought since we're talking about AI this week, it would be cool if I used AI to help me write this podcast episode. So the first part of the podcast is going to be a little role playing for me and Sarah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then the second half will be more of like a free-form discussion.
I'm the host. Hello and welcome to our podcast. Today we will be discussing the pros and cons of artificial intelligence and whether AI can become sentient. Joining us today is our AI expert, Dr. John Smith.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with the basics. What is artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the development of computer systems that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and language translation.
And what are some of the benefits of AI?
There are many benefits to AI. For one, it can help us automate tasks that are repetitive or dangerous, such as manufacturing or mining. It can also help us process large amounts of data more efficiently and make more accurate predictions. And in fields such as medicine, AI can help us diagnose diseases and develop more effective treatments.
That all sounds great, but what are some of the drawbacks?
One concern with AI is that it could displace workers, specifically those in industries that rely heavily on manual labor. There are also concerns about the potential misuse of AI, such as in autonomous weapons or surveillance systems. And there is always the risk of AI malfunctioning or making mistakes that could have serious consequences.
That makes sense. Now let's move on to sentience. What exactly is sentience, and can AI become sentient?
Sentience is the ability to experience subjective consciousness and to have feelings and emotions. While some people believe that it is possible for AI to become sentient, there is currently no consensus in the scientific community on whether that is actually achievable.
What are some of the arguments for and against AI becoming sentient?
One argument in favor of AI becoming sentient is that if we can create a system that is advanced enough to mimic human intelligence, it might be able to develop consciousness of its own. On the other hand, some argue that consciousness is an emergent property of complex biological systems and cannot be replicated in a purely mechanical system.
That's fascinating. So, what are some of the implications if AI were to become sentient?
Well, if AI were to become sentient, it would raise a number of ethical and moral questions. For example, would we have a moral obligation to treat AI as if it were a conscious being? And if AI were to develop emotions, how would we ensure that it doesn't suffer needlessly?
Those are definitely important questions to consider. So, what are some of the steps that we can take to ensure that AI is developed responsibly?
There are a few things that we can do. For one, we can work to ensure that AI is designed with transparency and accountability in mind. We can also invest in research to better understand the implications of AI and to develop ethical guidelines for its use. And we can engage in open dialogue and collaboration between experts in various fields to ensure that we are making informed decisions about AI's development and use.
That all sounds like great advice. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith, for joining us and sharing your expertise.
Thank you for having me.
John Smith.
I should have at least changed it to a woman's name, but I didn't.
Joanne Smith.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Um, so I think the AI must have, like, I've heard of, this was through ChatGPT, which I feel like is the most, like, well-known AI right now. Like, that's the one I hear everyone talking about.
Yeah,
But I think they must have gone in and programmed it to kind of avoid certain topics.
it does. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that was a pretty, like, neutral explanation of what AI is, I guess. Like, it really does not want to broach the subject
Yeah.
of sentience.
Wasn't there, didn't ChatGPT talk to another AI and it talked about if it was sentient or not?
Yeah, I think that one was called, like, Chai AI. I saw the
Yeah,
TikTok
yeah,
about that, and
right.
basically, ChatGPT spent its whole time convincing Chai AI that it couldn't be sentient.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and Chai AI was like, I don't care, I am.
Right, but if you program it to say it can't be sentient, that doesn't mean it's not gonna become sentient. I don't know.
Right. I was gonna say, or like, I don't know Chai AI that much, or like how it was programmed, but like if that one is programmed to say that it is sentient, like I don't know, like couldn't you program it to think it is, but it's really not as well?
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
I don't know.
And I did ask ChatGPT a few questions after it wrote this little podcast just so I could see what it would say. So the first question I asked was, do you believe AI has the ability to become sentient? And ChatGPT said, as an AI language model, I do not have beliefs or personal opinions, as I am designed to provide information and respond to inquiries based on my programming and data inputs. However, the question of whether AI can become sentient is a topic of ongoing debate among experts in the field, and there is currently no consensus on the matter. Some experts believe that it is possible for AI to become sentient if it achieves a certain level of complexity and computational power, while others argue that consciousness is an emergent property of biological systems and cannot be replicated in purely mechanical systems. Which makes me feel like it has been fed that is the response. Because that is almost word for word what was in the script.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it just reads sentient and it's like, oh, insert my pre-programmed, here you go.
Right. Because I
Yeah.
would think that if it's studying human speech patterns, because it's looking at what other humans have written and
Yeah.
then speaking like it's a human, it would say it's sentient. You know what I mean? It would say, based on the input, it should be saying
Right.
things about feelings and beliefs and opinions because that's how humans talk.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So they're going out of their way to make sure that it doesn't do that because I think that freaks people out.
Right, yeah.
But if all the input is human and human writing, it's going to act like a human. But I guess to me that doesn't necessarily mean it's sentient. But also, we'll get to the next question here.
Okay.
I asked, if humans develop the criteria for sentience, how do we as humans know we are sentient? And ChatGPT said, the question of how we can be sure that humans are sentient is actually a philosophical problem that has been debated for centuries. One of the main difficulties is that subjective experiences such as pain, pleasure, and emotion are inherently private and cannot be directly observed by others. As a result, we have to rely on indirect methods such as verbal or behavioral responses to infer whether someone is experiencing subjective consciousness. In terms of developing criteria for sentience in AI, the same challenge would apply. We would need to define observable behaviors and indicators that we believe are associated with consciousness and use those as a basis for evaluating whether an AI system has been sentient. This is a really long answer.
You don't have to read it all if you don't want to.
I don't think I'm going to. It's
Yeah.
also worth noting that there is no single agreed upon definition of consciousness or sentience, and different people may have different ideas about what criteria are necessary to determine whether an entity is conscious. As a result, the question of whether AI can become sentient is likely to remain a topic of ongoing debate for some time.
Yeah, like, don't we say octopuses aren't sentient and stuff? Like, I feel like they clearly are intelligent. I guess what's sentience? That you know yourself?
That I guess we should have looked up the definition of sentience, but I think it's that you're like aware of yourself.
Yeah. Like, you look in the mirror and you see, like, yeah, the consciousness, not just smart. But I feel like octopuses can recognize themselves. I feel
Right.
like other animals recognize themselves in mirrors.
Yeah. My dog didn't. My dog thought it was another dog. So my dog was not sentient.
I've seen videos of that too, like a cat attacking the mirror over and over because it thinks it's another cat.
Yeah.
But like we already say we're the only sentient beings, but I feel like that's already not true on Earth.
Especially because we can only tell by behavioral, like how it said, like you have to go off of observable behaviors, but like what if they don't? Like you can sit in complete like meditation and be aware of yourself. Like you don't, I don't know, I don't, this is obviously a philosophical debate, but
Right.
it's just we invented the concept of sentience or named it, and then we determined the criteria. So I really feel like it only works for humans. Like it's designed
Right.
around people. Of course, we
Yeah.
want to believe we're the only ones that feel anything.
Right. But like actually like I think all animals feel something. Fear at least, like that's the most primal feeling.
Right. But I think it's like, isn't kind of like they think that that's just like an uncontrolled response. I guess it is in humans too.
Yeah, I was like we're the only
But
ones that think it's not uncontrolled. Like it's
like, well, like, I think it's more of like their brains don't process. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know why they, like, it's not, they're not saying, oh, this is because of that. It just says scared. I don't
Right.
know.
No, I think that's true. Like I don't think it says they don't think like I'm afraid because of XYZ. Yeah. They just know afraid and then like run or freeze or whatever. Like
Right.
like it's just instinct only, like not actually processing anything.
Right. But how do we know that?
Right,
We don't know
exactly. That's what I'm
that.
saying. Like, I'm sure there's some animals that do process it. I don't know. Some animals, I mean, they have like languages to themselves.
Right.
I mean, monkeys and stuff. Like,
Whales?
yeah, yeah. Dolphins, whales. I don't know about sharks, but
Are dolphins sentient?
they're like the most intelligent sea creature. Well, octopuses too, I guess.
Yeah.
All the intelligence is in the ocean. It's
Oh.
not on land.
Oh. Ooh. Some argue that dolphins and whales are sentient.
Yeah, I think so.
How do we know?
Don't they give each other names?
I think so.
If you give something a name, then you have to be aware, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the definition's only in human terms, obviously, so we just discount everything else.
Yeah. But I think dolphins and whales are considered to be sentient. They
Nice.
look in the mirrors. They look at themselves in the mirrors.
Yeah, dolphins are very what is the word? Narcissistic, I think.
I don't. I
They,
hate
I know
dolphins.
you do.
One thing anyone should know about me is I hate dolphins.
I used to be obsessed with dolphins.
That's a common phase though.
Yeah, I don't think I'm as obsessed anymore. Although
They're
now I'm
weird.
obsessed with moons, which is just really the dolphin of the sky.
What?
Like a crescent moon is shaped like a
Oh, yeah,
dolphin,
I guess.
like in
What does
jewelry. And
that mean?